Hello, everybody. I'm about 2 days out from Wheels Up, heading back to the USA, and I got a guy with me. His name's Chuck. I'll let him say his last name if he wants, but he's a veteran over here in the Philippines. I think he's been here about 6 different times, and he's been to Dumaguete, but he figured he would give Davao a shot. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chuck and let him tell you a little bit about himself and why he came to Davao City.
Yep, I'm Chuck Jordan. I'm a veteran of visiting the Philippines, but not a veteran of the military. But yeah, I mean, here in Davao City, I initially, it came on my radar after watching Randy's channel. I had already been to the Philippines 5 times previously: Manila, Cebu, Dumaguete, Siquijor, Dipolog. There's quite a few places here in the Philippines, and with especially the location here at One Oasis, it's right next to SM Mall. Everything you need is in walking distance. So, that's the reason that we chose to be here in Davao City. My fiance and I, her daughter, who's 3 years old, and my son, who's 15, I brought with me on this trip, and we're just here basically for probably about 4 or 5 months altogether. By the time we leave, working on getting her fiance visa. This process we started early last year. But yeah, I mean, the Philippines has a lot of advantages. Anybody that's been here will know that the people here tend to be very polite, sir, ma'am. Sort of a real positive, upbeat attitude, smile, which is kind of refreshing. Back in the U.S., with a lot of the political angst and things that are going on, you don't see that nearly as much anymore. So that was one of the big drivers. Also, being engaged to a Filipina, and I specifically sought out a Filipina. After doing some research, I decided that the women here in the Philippines, sort of ticked all the boxes for me as far as being beautiful, but also they tend to be very traditional. They don't mind cooking dinner or doing laundry or that sort of thing, domestic chores or household chores. It's a partnership. They don't mind letting the guy be the leader of the household. It's not a constant battle or battle of the wills, that sort of thing. So I mean, the sort of the toxic feminism has taken over in the U.S. and a lot of Western countries, and some guys are good with that, and that's fine for them, but not for me. So I decided to do something a little bit different.
You've been interviewed before by a big YouTuber, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I've been on Mark Thornton's channel a couple of times. Every Man Has a Story. Yeah, I enjoy visiting with Mark. He's a nice guy.
What do you like, or what's do you like, Davao City or Dumaguete the best, and which one do you like? Why do you like it?
Well, I would have to say that for my circumstances, being the 4 of us, I like Davao City because there's a lot of taxis available. Also, I know that the hospitals, the medical care, it's a lot more modern here in Davao City than what's available in Dumaguete. In case there was an emergency, or excuse me for a second, let me turn off my alarm there. So yeah, I mean, the Davao City has a lot going for it, especially this location where everything's within walking distance. You can get a taxi. Whereas in Dumaguete, the transportation there is pretty much a tricycle. There are no taxis. You can hire a driver with a car for the day. There are people available that'll do that for you. It can be a little bit costly after a while. It adds up, and it's not something you'd want to have to do every day. And you can buy a car there in Dumaguete. I rented a car and drove, and it was a bit chaotic. Being on vacation, I decided after a couple of days I would just take up the offer I had for a driver. Then I didn't have to worry about it, because you'd be driving around at nighttime. There'd be a whole family with a baby all piled up, 4 of them on a moped with the headlights not working, and I just didn't want to be responsible for crashing in a situation like that. So I said, let me enjoy a stress-free vacation and let somebody else do the driving. So yeah, I mean, it's the more modern healthcare, the transportation, all that sort of thing here, it's certainly more favorable in Davao City. In Dumaguete, there's a lot of expats there, and there's a lot of foreigners, so there's probably a little bit more English speaking there. As far as the Filipinos that are in Dumaguete, I would say a higher percentage of them are more fluent in English than what you get here. But here there's enough people that speak English that you can get by.
So would you say Davao City's it's more diverse than Dumaguete?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And more. So you're you're seeing more of like real Philippine culture living here than Dumaguete.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
so
it's-
much Western influence there.
Yeah, I mean, Davao City is not really a expat enclave like Dumaguete is. I mean, you see plenty of foreigners here, but percentage-wise, I'm sure it's much, much smaller than what you get in Dumaguete.
I know Mindanao has a bad name from the things that have happened in the past. Do you trust Mindanao and Davao City?
Yeah, I feel comfortable here in Davao City. It's my understanding there's some places on the outskirts of Davao City, in Mindanao in general, that are a little bit unfriendly towards foreigners, due to political, religious differences, etc. I haven't traveled to those areas, haven't had a need to, but right here in Davao City, I don't see any problems.
So you would recommend this as a good place for family then?
Yeah. Especially if you've got kids and you need to have decent transportation and medical care. Yeah, this is a pretty good location.
There's also, since we live so close to the mall, there's also a lot of things for children to do at the mall. There's video arcades and things like that. And, you was telling me there's a virtual reality arcade about a block away.
Yeah, it's
from the
about a
mall.
5-minute walk. A place called Sploop where they have virtual reality video games. They got stuff for older people and adults, and also for little kids. And they serve food there, so you can go and have a lunch or a dinner while you're there.
I have a trampoline park in Davao City too. It's as big as any I've been to in the U.S., but it's a cab ride away, taxi rides. But yeah, it was a pretty good time there. And do you plan on living here or going back to the United States?
Yeah, I mean, once we get the K1 visa, which is hopefully going to be next month sometime, we're going to be heading back to the U.S. But eventually, plan on coming back to the Philippines. I'm not sure exactly when. My son is 15, so I got to make sure that he's got all he needs to do in the U.S. as far as schooling, and he's prepared. So we don't have a specific time frame, but eventually, I'd like to see us move back here. Yeah.
You got to come back to the Mindanao or?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, we may possibly come back here to Davao City. I haven't completely made up my mind of where we're going to land in the Philippines, but definitely it would probably be a toss-up between Davao City and Dumaguete.
I know the next time I come back, I'd like to see maybe Baguio. You hear a lot about that, little cooler area, and maybe Palawan too. The island of Palawan over there, and closer to China. And it's out of the ring. They call it the Ring of Fire. No volcanoes and tsunamis and hurricanes, or what they call them here, not hurricanes,
Typhoons.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a little different climate there in Palawan too, and also some of the most beautiful beaches.
Yeah, I haven't seen those areas yet, but they're definitely on my list to go and visit.
Well, I thank you for your time and good luck, and I'll be seeing you around. You're from Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I live in Tennessee.
That's a good area to live. I'm thinking about relocating to Tennessee myself, or somewhere in Alabama. Definitely somewhere in the South. I'm tired of the cold northern winters.
That's one of the reasons I moved from Western New York.
Well, about.
I grew up with the snow and
Winters,
the cold and the
yeah.
ice and all that, and it definitely got old after a while.
Yeah, it does. Get tired of it. Well, like I said, thank you, and until next time, everybody, be safe, have a good one. Mahau, Ko, Kayo.